Well, of course. I mean, obviously, over the last few years, it's dropped off the standards at Manchester United. Certainly since the time of David Beckham, who's been knighted today, and Ronaldo. So those days are long gone. But he is on a rebuild. I think he's doing a decent job of it. He's had to go under difficult circumstances, Amorim. But, you know, they got some ingredients there. They're starting to improve in the league. But you take Ronaldo's point, you know, like what he's inherited is nothing like what he should be inheriting. He's coming from Sporting Lisbon. He's coming to Man United, perhaps most famous club in the world, you could argue. So he would expect a better structure there, and I think that's Ronaldo's point. I think ultimately he's going to support his compatriot, you know, he's Portuguese, etc., etc. But personally, I think Ruben's a great fit for Man United, and I think he's doing a good job under difficult circumstances.
I mean, it's certainly improved, hasn't it, in recent weeks,
Definitely,
for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of the players that he's got, you know, Ronaldo talking about their mentality, is that fair on the players that he's currently got? Because the scrutiny that comes with being a Manchester United player is extreme.
Yes. And there's, a question of, like, some big players can deal with that immediately, and some take time. You know, you need to kind of grow into that size of club. And the scrutiny that they're under, not just nationally, but, you know, locally as well, where the fans are on top of them. Everywhere they go, they get reminded that they're playing for Man United. It's daunting. But I think they got players there now, particularly Premier League proven players in Cunha and Amumu, who are now starting to take the club forward. And I think if he can really kind of stabilise the team, I think still defensively they're a little bit open, and at times they can be got at. But, you know, going forward now, they got great options.
You mentioned the two players, Cunha and Mbeumo. Like you say, they've come with Premier League experience as well. Did they get the recruitment spot on, do you think? Because actually recruitment is something that they've always been kind of criticised for, you might say, in terms of the last 10 years, perhaps. Did they get it right this summer, you know, with Lamin's coming in as well? And he's looked like he has, even though you say the defence is still a little bit lacking. Certainly he's shored it up in goal. Yeah,
he has, and he looks a great prospect. Definitely the problem at Manchester United has been recruitment over the recent years. You know, they've signed players who have not come to fruition, not been able to deal with the size of the shirt and the size of the club. But these guys, they kind of already had the confidence of the Premier League under their belt. And in Cunha in particular, you know, you got a player who probably thinks he should be playing for Real Madrid. He has that kind of inner belief.
Yes, and that's what you need at United,
that's what you need at those big clubs. And so when he takes the ball, when he can, you know, he can link up with Fernandes, no problem. You know, they're on the same wavelength. It's just how he's going to fit that puzzle together. At the moment, he's still kind of tinkering with it. But in the end, he'll get a solution, and hopefully, as I say, they'll have a great season.
How do you feel Amorim is in terms of that team? Because he was kind of vilified for kind of sticking to his style, yet actually he's stuck to his style and it's looking like it's coming good. So do you feel he's getting close to what he really wants on that pitch right now?
You know, when you speak to managers, obviously I'm a Premier League manager, we always come away from the system, right? Because it is about, you know, once the system's ingrained, it really is about the players delivering and understanding it. And some players take longer than others. Crystal Palace play exactly the same system, and look at the success they've had. Yeah. You know, they've won the cup. I think they've lost only 3 games in their last sort of 16 games. You know, so the system operates in the Premier League. You just got to have the right credentials. And at the moment, you know, where it falls down a little bit maybe is in wing-back areas. They haven't quite got that stabilised. But, you know, going through the middle and at the top of the pitch, they're fine. It's just that kind of wing-back, centre-back one that is very, very difficult to kind of perfect. And that's the process they're on. I still think they're a centre-back short, really, of being a really quick centre-back who can really get them out of trouble when they make mistakes.
Had they got, I think, the victory at the weekend, they would have, I think, gone second in the table. I mean, that's pretty impressive in terms of where they were at the end of last season. What's a good season for them this time around? Do they have to make Champions League? What's capable? What do you think they're capable of? Well,
in his favour, of course, he has no European football. So when I'm saying about those points about the centre-backs going in to press and causing gaps at the back, and then the others filling those spaces, that takes time. So on the coaching pitch, he has more time to put that in. And he's absolutely, that's been essential for him. I think that's why they'll have a decent season. I think they could finish top 8. I don't know where, but I think that's a great opportunity for them to kind of push for Europe and hopefully get themselves back in there.
Not top four.
I don't think so.
Just on United now, the Sunday Telegraph says Diallo wonder strike rescues a point to reward Amorim faith. There was not a fourth consecutive Premier League victory for Amorim to mark his first anniversary. We shouldn't forget 1 year yesterday when he got appointed. But there was progress of a kind. This was the first point United had claimed from falling behind since the game away to Bournemouth in late April. So with 3 steps forward, you could say. Carl, what does yesterday's draw represent? Half a step back or just staying where they were?
Maybe you've dented morale, but it's not been derailed entirely. Amorim in his post-match press conference said that the team had the feeling of maybe they couldn't win the game, but they definitely knew how to not lose the game. And he was asked about if this was played last season, do you think you would have lost? And I think that's a fair assessment of this Manchester United team. They are still prone to the same weaknesses and fragilities that we've seen, not just under Amorim last season, but also under Ten Hag. So when they are prone to conceding punches and bunches, to use the old verbiage. So it's not, they don't just concede 1 goal, but they can concede 2 or 3 in 5 minutes. So they go from 1-0 up to 2-1 down in the space of, I want to say 5 minutes in the start of the second half. But the good thing now is, through this sort of newly refurbished attacking line and a team that is getting more acclimatised to what Amorim wants, they are finding ways to score extra goals. So, the attack is good enough to bail out any mistakes the defence makes, shall we say.
Dom, depending on what happens to Manchester United on a certain weekend in the Premier League, it's either Amorim in crisis or Manchester United and Amorim have turned a corner. This one feels like, for the first time in weeks, we're just here. A bit of stability, maybe, dare I say it?
Yeah, it'd be nice because, I think when I was on last month, I was talking, I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for the sort of magnitude of focus that's been on him, everything that he's dealing with. He's still a young man dealing with the biggest club in the world, if you want to say that, and all the problems that have been behind the scenes and everything that he's trying to change. 3 wins and a draw's a steady little run of form. Get another couple of wins on top of that, and you're starting to get somewhere. I thought it was interesting to say that he listened to him say yesterday that he thinks the players are sort of buying into him more now, which, when you go back to what was said in after they lost in Grimsby, when he thought the dressing room had gone on him.
Spoke really loud.
Yeah, I really didn't like that. I thought that said a lot about the dressing room. I really didn't like the sort of how the dressing room was painted in that sort of situation. Like, I don't like this idea that players can just decide the manager's not for them and stuff. Not give it their all. I'd like to see him do well. There's been too much turmoil at Manchester United. There's been too much flux. They need a nice bit of stability.
Charlie, the Sunday Telegraph also says that Amorim had brushed away questions regarding potential Champions League qualification before the game. And they said, and he's right not to get carried away. However, aside of Arsenal just now, who we've been talking about, who seem to be running away with it and seem to be very, very consistent, there doesn't seem to be very much consistency amongst the other teams. Now, United seem to be in this unique situation at the moment where there's no European football. It's effectively a game a week where he can really push forward his ideas to his players. And Dom mentioned it there. They seem to be buying into it. Is there an opportunity here for them maybe to sneak in to the top 4, maybe top 5 if
Absolutely.
5th place gets it?
100%, yeah. I think, as you say, not being in Europe is helping United, certainly helping Amorim. I think, yeah, there's a lot of inconsistent teams in the Premier League at the moment. And, yeah, I've spoken to a couple of people, United fans, in the last week that were saying about potentially winning the league. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think the tongue might have been in cheek there.
No, it wasn't. No,
okay.
No, it really wasn't. But look, yeah, top 4 definitely at the moment.
Okay.
And just simply because there are a lot of sort of 6 out of 10 teams in the Premier League at the moment, and teams that could go on, win 4, lose 4, which we might see United do again. But on current form, it looks as though they're getting some proper consistency back. So I think they'll be all right, and they'll definitely get into Europe, whether it's 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
And Carl, one of those key players that we touched on it when we were off there is someone everybody seems to be talking about with regard to United's supposed resurgence just now, Matheus Cunha.
Yeah. Got a goal last week against Brighton. Seems to have the makings of a future cult hero. One thing that's become quite notable about him is even though he's got the artistry you might expect from a Brazilian attacking player, he also blends it with a little bit of shenanigans and defensive moxie, shall we say. One thing really, really important, but not just last week against Brighton, but also really evident to this yesterday against Wolves, is his ball carrying and his ability to hold onto the ball and wriggle through tight spaces and just keep the ball moving in a way that perhaps 2 or 3 United attackers in previous seasons would have lost the ball, maybe given away a foul. He's exceptional at winning fouls within his own half. So there were 2 or 3 times in this game, Douglas Luiz went off with what I think was a hamstring injury and Ryan Yates came on. Ryan Yates, who is one of the more rugged and robust central midfielders, shall we say, tried to challenge Cunha 2 or 3 times, and Cunha, recognising that momentum might go to Nottingham Forest this way, manoeuvred his body in such a way to make sure free kicks went to United's way and slowed the flow of the game down and made sure United were keeping in mild control of the game. So Cunha seems to be someone who will be printed on a lot of Manchester United shirts towards the end of this season and definitely at the start of next season as well.